Hey guys, Christina here. I was not planning on coming on today. I was not planning on posting today. I wanted to give you guys a break. But I woke up and Spirit gave me a nudge, and I always follow my nudges, as I hope you do too. When inspiration hits, you gotta follow it. And they inspired me, they nudged me to pick up my book, Reborn, and read a page from it, which always carries a message when I do that. I flip through, wherever it lands, I read, and I know that it's Spirit speaking straight to me. So I'm going to read the page that they directed me to, guided me to, and I hope that there is a message in here for you. Okay. Happy that this guide was gone, we moved on to the truth about two of my past lives, which had come up so she could remove the karma from them that was affecting me in this one. As she spoke, I stifled a laugh and questioned if what she was saying had come out of a romance novel. The first had occurred 21 lives before the current one, and in it, I'd agreed to be the concubine of a ruler. Wanting to feed my family, I'd succumbed to his desires and contracted myself to his every whim, even though it brought me pain, not pleasure. The vows of allegiance I'd been forced to voice had placed a collar around my neck, and it was still squeezing, trying its best to silence my words. Connecting that experience to this life, I admitted I consistently, despite fighting against it, lost my voice whenever it was positioned against anyone, especially a man in authority. Excited for that to be lifted, she returned to my guilt. Some of it was linked to an experience had 13 lives earlier. Living in a culture, most likely samurai, that prided itself on honor, I'd broken its societal boundaries when I'd fallen in love with someone who wasn't the person I'd bound myself to in marriage. We'd both succumbed to our feelings, but my guilt had gotten the better of our love when the other half of my binding had found out about us. Out of fear of the societal disgrace it would bring upon my family, I decided to sacrifice our love. My spouse and I had vowed to keep it a secret so our family's honor wouldn't be ruined. This was another contract that needed to be cleared, so my voice could be freed of its silencing impact. Asking if the man I loved in this life had been in either of those, the woman in front of me, who would become my personal healer across the year ahead, didn't know the answer. I could feel she didn't like the question, but set it aside, knowing no one could understand why I was hanging on to hope for someone who had rejected me. Sure that he'd been involved in the life that carried karma from a love triangle, I wasn't sure of the exact details, but it felt similar to a vivid dream I'd had right before the reading. It was one of many he visited me in, even though through the majority, he was either unaware of my presence or refused to turn his gaze in my direction. In this one, I watched from afar as he knocked on the door of a large home he'd recently lived in. Not recognizing his appearance, since in this life he was half a foot taller than most tall men and had Nordic features. In that one, he looked Asian. There was a woman and 2 children inside, and I knew that they had been a family. But when the door opened, the only thing that came out was a large black grand piano. Rolling towards him quickly, he turned to run down the hill that had led him up to the entrance, but he couldn't escape and was crushed when it ran him over. I understood the meaning immediately upon waking. Early on, in this life's relationship, he'd spoken of the lessons he was taking to learn how to play the piano and had described the experience as one that fed his soul. I knew this dream was showing me the soul-crushing experience he was living through. With a heart heavy for him, I knew he had to go through this on his own to uncover his power. But I'd yet to realize how much more I was going to have to endure on this path I was set on. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. Whatever you needed from that, I hope you got. All right, more to come tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye.